Mike, obviously a great performance tonight. I want to take you to when they cut it down to 24-23, and it looked like you just had enough of them hanging around. You got it on low block and just kind of flipped to your left, flipped into the basket. What that started a 13-3 run to end the half. Talk about that sequence and what you kind of did during that. You scored 9 of the 13 points. Kind of helped set the tone for what happened in the second half, I thought.
Well, last year we watched the film actually this week of when we played Southern Wesleyan, and they kind of went on a similar run in the middle of the first half. And I just wanted to kind of spark the team really defensively, getting stops. That's really our MO. That's the way we get going. So getting stops and getting in transition, getting easier buckets. Then they were guarding some of our stuff really well. We really couldn't get in the flow offensively. So we kind of just took from the film that we watched this week and saw how they made it a close game in the first half last year. So we wanted to kind of push it up before the halftime, and we kind of just finally like locked in a little bit more, got a little bit more tighter on defense, got rebounds, got out and pushed it, and got easier shots than we were getting when we weren't getting stops and had to go against their set defense.
Mike, just talk about the second half. I thought you guys came out and really in both halves and asserted yourself more, maybe defensively in tonight's game and maybe the first two games of the season. You yourself had 4 steals. Just talk about the amount of ball deflections you guys were able to get and what maybe what's the emphasis coming into the game.
Well, that's our thing for every game. We try to get 30-plus deflections every game. We try to win the rebounding margin. And those are the things that we can control. You know, we can't always control how teams guard us, if we're making shots or not, if we're playing well offensively. But that defensive end, we can control how hard we play there. And those rebounding stats and those deflection stats and steals, those are things that are hustle stats and hustle plays that we can always control. So anytime we find ourselves not in a rhythm offensively, that's what we look for. We don't look for, we don't look for a dial up for a certain person offensively. We look for who's going to make a big play defensively. We call it TGHT plays, toughness plays. Who's going to make those? Who's going to take a charge? Who's going to get it out in the break? Who's going to get a steal? Who's going to get a deflection? Who's going to get a spark on defense? And that's what it's going to be. That's what it's got to be from our mature team. We're older, but we got to be more mature to learn. That's what turns it around when we're not playing well, not offense.
Mike, tonight, Clay Mounts had 6 assists. Noah Gurley had 4 assists. You and Alex combined for 2 assists. But that's kind of the beauty of this team, is it not? Each one of you can do so many different things. You don't have those defined roles, so to speak. Is that what really makes you y'all a great team?
Yeah, and when we miss a lot of jump shots, that's kind of, you can tell why guards don't have as many assists, because usually we're kicking to them or kicking to each other, and we didn't really shoot well from the 3 tonight. So that might show why we had our bigs or bigger guys had more assists, because we started going to back cuts and post ups and rim runs and stuff like that. And anyone can make an assist from that. And that is the beauty of our team, how we all play for each other. You know, it's not fun when the ball's sticking, everyone's trying to play one-on-one. That wouldn't be a team that any of us want to be on, but just the closeness of our brotherhood and our togetherness, that just makes sharing the ball. We just find an open man and get the best shot for the team.
Mike, just talk about what it's like to be a guard and to be able to pass to 3 guys like Jalen and Noah Gurley and Clay Mounts. But also, I think one of the guys that's really stepped up, in the front court, we all know what Clay Mounts and Noah can do, but Jalen Slauson tonight with 13 points and 10 rebounds, and it's been solid, in the first 3 games. Just talk about how he stepped up his game this season.
Yeah, I kind of just said it. We're all maturing as young men, young basketball players, and it's all tying into one. We're all getting better on and off the court, and it's just paying off for us. We're all getting more time in the gym together. We're shooting together more. We're getting more rhythm and practice, and that's just the beauty of this team, that the longer we play with each other, the more comfortable and more confident we're going to get out there, the more we're going to see what each other bring to the table. and everyone's getting better. And it's just so fun to play with guys that you genuinely care about and you want to see them do well. And we all, you can just feel that connection on the court. And that's why everyone is free to play their game and also free to play hard for each other. And when you play hard for your brother, things open up for you because everyone's doing it around the court. So it's easy to have almost 6 double-figure scores tonight just because we're playing for each other.
Thought tonight, defended the floor pretty well most of the game, rebounded at a high level. I don't know the last time we had 55 rebounds. I'll have to get that from Caskey. But really proud of our defensive effort, really proud of our rebounding effort, and was proud of our second half offense. But first half played a little selfish, didn't move the ball at the level that we like to move the ball at. And some of that was a credit to SWU. I thought they had a good game plan, really trying to shrink the floor, getting the gaps and rate us on drives. And once we settled in, I think we had 11 assists and 5 turnovers in the second half. I thought it looked a lot better. And, I know that you can look out there and say, hey, it's Southern Wesleyan, but that's a really good team. And they won their league last year. And you go and look at their scores. Nick's a good friend. And that's why we play them, because they're going to challenge us. And we were ranked in here 2 years ago, and they came in here. I mean, it was nip and tuck the whole game. Last year, they went on a 14-0 run in the first half. It was 28-28. They out-rebounded us for the majority of the game. We went by 20. And, he tells me before the game they had 2 Division I's already canceled on them because people don't want to play them. And so for us to be able to put together a 40-point performance versus that team, that's a good win. Is it complete? Are we a finished product? Not even close. But overall, it's another game where we leave there knowing that there's still a lot to improve on, but we're making some strides in some areas where we know we have to make strides in.
Jordan just told me that the last time we had 55 or more rebounds was December 16th, 2015 versus Bluefield.
You know what? Bluefield. I think I remember that game, 2015. Yep. That's this team, like I said, they do a really good job attacking the backboard. And last year, like I said, the same team basically, and they were leading us in rebounding. So, just this is a process, and this is we're not a finished product by any means. We want to continue to improve, but we wanted to rebound the ball better this year. We spent a lot of time emphasizing it. I think we've been able to see that in these 3 games. We wanted to play with more depth, which with the depth to increase tempo and get a few more possessions. And we wanted to, and you can see that in these 3 games. And so, the things that we've tried to emphasize in the offseason of areas of improvement for us, I think we are seeing it. I think that there's still, some things that we're going to have to continue to clean up, but, couldn't be more proud of our second half performance, especially, we had 4 double-digit scores. We had another guy with 9. We had another guy with 8. We played a lot of guys. We played a lot of guys in the heart of the game. I think we had 8 guys with double-figure minutes, which that's unique for us. And so, it's what we wanted to get out of this game. A good win, get a lot of guys minutes, and continue to evaluate our depth and see who's going to be able to help us in some of these games where we're going to get challenged a little bit more.
Good, Julie.
Coach, just talk about this team has gotten to the free throw line a lot during the first 3 games. I think 79 is the second most, and that's behind Western Carolina, who's played more games. But just talk about, in particular, Mike Bothwell. I think his ability to get to the line is a little bit like Stephen Kroon. Could you just talk about how tough a matchup he's been for teams, and they're almost forced to foul him when he gets deep in the paint?
Yeah, again, I mean, just one of those items in the offseason. I mean, we had more than enough time to watch our season from last year and really spend a lot of time evaluating it. We didn't get summer workouts. We didn't get spring workouts. We didn't get recruiting. So we had a lot of time to watch our games and really study our program and figure out areas that needed to be improved on. And one of the words that just kept coming up all off season was just the ability to play the game with more force. And it's really been a word we've utilized a lot. And, it's with force, it's how low are we driving the ball? How much force are we playing with on our finishes? Are we driving it with force? Are we cutting with force? And then are we rebounding? Are we getting on the glass with force? And so it's nice to see that there's been some carryover there. we had 6 free throws at halftime, which aided to my frustration with some of the bad ball movement and the lack of force that we were playing with, and the persistence to drive closed off gaps and not move it. But second half, I thought you saw that. So it's nice to see that we are again trying to do the things that we're trying to identify. And Mike's a special player, and we've known that. I mean, it was anybody that was in our league in February last year saw that he was playing as good as any guard in the league in the last month of the season. And with having the team that we had and the career that Jordan had, and it was just he was like the 6th starter, and I thought he handled it beautifully. And a lot of time in life, when you have humility like that, you're willing to continue to work while you wait. When your time comes, you're going to be able to perform at a high level, and that's what you're seeing out of Mike. I mean, he had 17 tonight, and I don't know if it was like some dominant game, right? He just went out there and did what Mike Bothwell did, and had 17 points. So we're excited about where he's at. And, I've always, the thing that's attracted me to Mike ever since we recruited him is just his carriage and how he presents and how he leads, his smile, his presence. And it's nice to see what he's doing out there. And I think that he would sit here and tell you he's got a lot to get better at, but that's just how he is. He'll be back in here tomorrow watching the film with Coach Groh in the morning and figure out ways to continue to improve.
Not to go on with that point, Coach, but I did want to ask about a specific time in the game. They had scored to cut it down to 24-23, and Mike kind of took on the attitude of, all right, that's enough. He's made a beautiful move down here on the low block, a score. That started a 13-3 run, and it seemed like that really carried over to the second half. Would you agree with that little 4-minute stretch to end the half?
Yeah, I thought it was something to do with that. I thought that we finally, they were fighting with me a little bit in the timeouts, but I just thought that we got some cutting and the ball got side to side. And eventually with the way we play, if we move it well and we space it well, there's going to be creases. There's going to be closeouts. And then if we're playing with force, we can attack it, and then we can play off of 2 feet. And it's just kind of wherever the ball ends up. And Mike, look, Mike's not afraid of the moment. I mean, we know that. We knew that last year, right? I mean, the Arlington play, the Wofford play, what could have been the game-winning basket at Auburn had we been able to get the last stop. He's just a special player. He's a special person, and he's not afraid in those moments when he knows that somebody needs to kind of step up. That it's not going to be something where he's going to get discouraged or he's going to be afraid of that moment. He's ready to take that moment on, and he's one of our leaders. I mean, it's clear, right, that he's a guy where we're going to depend on him for a lot this year. And he did that Saturday too, Scott, right? I mean, he did that Saturday where it was 7-7, and all of a sudden he's just like, hey, you know what? Let's get some stops and let's get an open court and let's make smart plays with the basketball. And he's just a guy. He just finds buckets. So really excited about where he's heading.
Coach, the first 3 games you probably haven't shot the ball as well from 3-point range as you might have liked, but that also comes from how teams are defending you. Can you talk about how different teams are defending you from the perimeter, and how that kind of forces you in and of itself to be more versatile as a basketball team, and on the flip side of that, how well you've defended the 3 so far this season?
Yeah, I mean, defensively, John, I mean, we've always tried to put emphasis on guarding the 3-point line and making sure that we have good ball pressure with high gaps and obviously flow to the ball well. Most threes come through bad transition defense and dribble penetration to kickouts. And so, we've done a good job in these first 3 games of transition defense. We've gotten back. We've been able to set the floor. And then except for the first game, I think we've had pretty good gap activity that have kept the ball in the paint. And so it's limited rotations. And so really pleased with that. In terms of shooting the ball, guys, I mean, we're averaging 92 points a game. And I think that's probably going, you look at it and however we get those points, a lot of people buy into this idea that we want to shoot 43s a game. Well, if that's what they're giving us and that's what's open and we can step into them and shoot them, then we're going to take them. But, if we can drive the ball, if we can get to the free throw line, if we can get some cuts for layups, like we're not selective in great shots in terms of, hey, we got to get this shot, right? As long as we can get attacks to the basket, which hopefully will lead to good free throws, and we can get layups in the restricted area, mostly for us, we like to try to get uncontested 2s. And then if we can get assisted 3s, as many of those 3 types of shots as we can get in the game, if you do that over a course of a game, you're going to have a high shot quality And for us, we're just going to play the percentages. And so I'm not really worried about our 3-point shooting. I'm at practice every single day. We've got good shooters, and they're going to make shots. And, sometimes when you get up by these margins, human nature, you can slip a little bit. But this team will shoot the ball well. And, I know this. If we can continue to find ways to 90, I think we'll all be happy around here.
Coach, obviously taking care of business this 3-game homestand start. Got a big matchup, hopefully, maybe against Richmond on Saturday. How do you kind of prepare knowing what the situation there is? And, I guess fluid is the name of the game this year.
Yeah, I think that, that's a good question, Scott. I think that for us, we don't know what's going to happen Saturday. We're hopeful that we're going to be able to play Richmond. We'll find out a little bit more, hopefully around noon tomorrow. But, for us, we our staff does a phenomenal job preparing for games. The Richmond scout's done, and we're ready. We know what we got to do tomorrow to start to implement that preparation. And so we're just gonna control what's in front of us. And right now we got to go home, get a good night's sleep, come back ready to go tomorrow, have a good practice. For us, 2-day prep is mostly going to be about Furman, and that's just how we do it around here. Most of our 1-day prep will be more so about the opponent. But we're going to focus on us tomorrow. There is plenty to clean up. And so we'll come in the building and make sure we get our treatment and watch this film, learn from this film. By that point in practice, we'll probably have an idea of what Saturday looks like in terms of if it's a Richmond or not. But, it's part of the times we're in. And that's where, and I could get going about this for a while, but I'll save everybody. But people have no idea what these kids are going through right now, and I get it. Everybody wants us to play perfect, and how are we having these turnovers? And these kids are going, they find out yesterday they're probably not going to be able to play the Richmond game. And then today we find out, well, maybe we can, right? Well, if we don't, who are we playing? And you want to sit here as a coach and you want to say, hey, control the controllables. But these guys need to play. And I'm hoping just as coaches, as we navigate this, we've got to be safe. We got to be responsible. We got to make sure that we do what our administrations and the CDC says. But also for the teams that aren't playing because somebody has to sit, I'm just hoping as we go forward that the priority is on playing, and from coaches and everybody involved, that if 2 teams are out and they're able to play, that we go play, because these kids need to play ball. And that's what, the shame in would be for us to be sitting around Saturday with no game. And, that's what I'm hoping doesn't happen. We're talking to a few teams right now in terms of a backup. And we've offered it to some people that have open games, but we haven't gotten a commitment to be able to play a game yet. And so we're hoping that the Richmond thing stays intact. But if it doesn't, and we find bad news out on that tomorrow that we got to reschedule the game, then we're going to work really hard in the next 24 hours to try to find an opponent for Saturday or Sunday.
Obviously, if that game does get to take, that's a huge opportunity for your team if it does happen.
Yeah, well, we're going to play somebody good Saturday if we play. I'm not going to mention the teams that we're talking to, but we need a challenge. This team needs to be challenged. And not that we necessarily haven't been. We've played 2 really good Division II teams. Division II teams a lot of people won't play. And then we've played an upstate game that has played us very tough the last 2 years. And so I'm not implying that we haven't been challenged. We wanted this home game stand. We got basically 4 of our 5 off the bench have never played in a college basketball game. We knew that we had some things that we had to tinker with and iron through. I think we've been able to accomplish that. Now we need to go play somebody, to be honest with you, that maybe on paper is quote unquote, superior to us. And let's go see how we stack up, and I think our program is ready for that. And I think we're excited about that. And we want to go play a really good team. And Richmond's really, really good. Coach Mooney's done a heck of a job. I watched the Kentucky game. They basically controlled most of the game, and that's really, really hard to do versus Kentucky, let alone to go into Rupp Arena and do it. And I think we're eager for that challenge. And so I'm hoping it happens. If not, we're talking to some other opponents that will present challenges like that. And we got to go take this show on the road. We need to get on the road. We need to go play somebody, and we need to figure out, what our old group can do, what they've already done, right? A lot of these guys are proven, and they've been able to have success on the road. And then we're going to have guys out there, they've never been on a Young's bus before. Okay. They've never gone through our hotel routine. They don't know the type of preparation and the focus that it takes to win on the road. And so that's going to be a new experience. But I'm looking forward to it. That's the next thing for us to be able to go do, and for us to be able to assess what needs to improve, and see what we can do versus the likes. We're going to play somebody. We're going to play, and then after that, we're going to play Cincinnati, and we're going to play Alabama, and we're going to play Winthrop, who beat Greensboro by 10. We're going to get challenged, and that's exactly what we want. So we're looking forward to it.